Life will test you, not once, not gently, again and again. Pain will come, loss will come, fear will come. This is not unfair, this is life. The Stoics knew this truth well. They did not ask life to be easy. They trained themselves to be strong. Today, remember these 7 Stoic lessons when life feels heavy. There are many things in life that will never be under your control. The past cannot be changed. Other people will act according to their own nature. Events will happen without warning. Storms will come whether you are ready or not. Fighting these facts does not protect you. It only drains you. When you resist reality, you suffer twice, once from the event itself and once from your refusal to accept it. Acceptance does not mean liking what happens. It does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It means seeing things as they truly are without denial, anger, or false hope. When you accept reality, your mind becomes clear. You stop wasting energy on complaints and begin to think more wisely. This clarity is strength. Much of human pain comes from wanting life to be different than it is. You want people to change, outcomes to improve, or circumstances to bend in your favor. But life does not obey wishes. It follows its own order. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you find peace. Peace does not come from control. It comes from understanding where control ends. Your power lies in a small but important space. You can choose your thoughts. You can choose your actions. You can choose how you speak, how you respond, and how you carry yourself. Everything else is outside your command. When you confuse these boundaries, you invite frustration. When you respect them, you gain freedom. Think of the mind as a gatekeeper. If you allow every external event to disturb your inner state, you live as a slave to chance. A careless word can ruin your day. A delay can steal your calm. A setback can break your spirit. But when you accept that these things are beyond you, they lose their power. They become events, not disasters. Acceptance teaches humility. It reminds you that you are part of a larger world, not its master. This understanding does not weaken you. It grounds you. A grounded person does not panic when plans fail. They adjust, they adapt. They move forward without bitterness. When you accept what you cannot control, you stop blaming others for your feelings. You stop expecting fairness from life. You stop demanding guarantees. Instead, you focus on preparation. You strengthen your character. You sharpen your judgment. You build resilience, knowing that outcomes are uncertain but effort is always yours. Many people confuse acceptance with surrender. They think that if they accept reality, they lose ambition. The opposite is true. Acceptance clears the path for effective action. When you see the world clearly, you make better decisions. You no longer fight shadows. You address what is real. Consider how much energy is wasted on regret. You replay past mistakes wishing for different choices. But the past is fixed. No amount of thinking will change it. Acceptance releases you from this prison. It allows you to learn without self-hate, to remember without pain, to move forward without chains. The same is true for fear of the future. You imagine losses that have not happened, outcomes that may never come. Acceptance brings you back to the present moment. It reminds you that right now is where your power lies. Right now is where action is possible. When you accept what you cannot control, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. You stop demanding certainty. You stop arguing with reality. You stop asking life to spare you from hardship. Instead, you prepare yourself to meet whatever comes with calm and dignity. This mindset builds inner stability. External conditions rise and fall, but your inner state remains steady. You learn to stand firm while the world moves around you. You learn that peace is not found in perfect conditions, but in correct understanding. Acceptance is the foundation of strength. Without it, you are always reacting. With it, you are choosing. You cannot control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. Between an event and your reaction, there is a moment of choice. Most people rush through that moment without noticing it. They let anger decide for them. They let fear speak first. They let habits rule their actions. This is how people lose control of their lives without realizing it. Your response is your responsibility. No one can force you to think a certain way. No one can command your emotions unless you allow it. Words may hurt, situations may frustrate you, but the meaning you give them comes from your own mind. When you understand this, you reclaim your power. Strong people are not those who feel nothing. They feel deeply, but they choose carefully. They do not react at the first impulse, they pause. They observe. They ask themselves whether their response will improve the situation or make it worse. This pause is the space where wisdom lives. Anger often feels justified. It rises quickly and demands action. But anger clouds judgment. It narrows your vision and pushes you toward regret. By controlling your response, you do not deny anger, you guide it. You allow it to pass without letting it lead. This restraint is not weakness, it is discipline. Fear works in a similar way. It whispers worst-case outcomes and urges retreat. When fear controls your response, it limits your life. But when you acknowledge fear without obeying it, you grow stronger. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act well despite it. Your thoughts shape your responses. If you believe every setback is a personal attack, you will live in constant defense. If you see challenges as part of life, you remain calm and focused. The same event can either break your spirit or sharpen it, depending on how you interpret it. Training your response requires practice. The mind must be exercised like the body. You begin by noticing your reactions. You observe your tone, your words, your behavior. You ask whether they reflect the person you want to be. Each small correction builds self-mastery. Silence is often the strongest response. Not every insult deserves an answer. Not every problem needs immediate action. By choosing silence, you protect your peace and preserve your energy. You show control without force. Controlling your response also means choosing patience. Many mistakes are made in haste. A calm mind sees more options. It waits for the right moment. It acts with purpose instead of impulse. Patience is not delay. It is intelligent timing. When you control your response, you stop giving others power over you. Their behavior no longer dictates your mood. Their opinions no longer define your worth. You become steady, regardless of praise or criticism. This discipline brings inner freedom. You are no longer pulled in different directions by every event. You move according to reason and values, not emotions alone. Life becomes less chaotic because your inner world is stable. Every day offers opportunities to practice control, a disagreement, a delay, a disappointment. Each one is a test, not of strength, but of character. How you respond shapes who you become. Self-control is built in moments that seem small, choosing calm over anger, thought over impulse, principle over comfort. These choices accumulate over time. They form a strong and reliable mind. When you master your response, you master yourself. Pain is not an enemy that appears by mistake. It is a part of life, as natural as change and loss. Everyone meets it, whether prepared or not. Trying to avoid pain at all costs only makes you fragile. When pain finally arrives, it feels overwhelming because you never learned how to face it. The Stoic view does not deny pain. It looks at it closely and asks what it can teach. Pain forces your attention. It strips away distractions and exposes what truly matters. Comfort often hides weakness, but hardship reveals it. When something hurts, you learn where you are attached, where you are afraid, and where you still depend on things outside yourself. This awareness is valuable. Without pain, many lessons remain hidden. Every difficulty carries information. It shows you your limits, but also your potential. When you endure something hard, you discover strength you did not know you had. The body adapts. The mind adjusts. What once felt unbearable slowly becomes manageable. This process builds confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet certainty that you can endure. Pain also teaches patience. It cannot always be rushed away. Some wounds heal only with time. Fighting this truth creates frustration. Accepting it builds calm. You learn to wait without despair, to move forward without forcing outcomes. This patience strengthens your character. Loss teaches detachment. When something is taken from you, you are reminded that nothing truly belongs to you forever. People change. Circumstances shift. Possessions fade. This understanding can feel harsh, but it frees you from false security. You learn to appreciate what you have without clinging to it. Failure teaches humility. It breaks pride and challenges assumptions. When plans collapse, you are forced to reassess. You see mistakes more clearly. You learn where judgment failed and where effort was misdirected. This reflection leads to growth if you allow it. Resisting the lesson only repeats the pain. Pain also sharpens empathy. When you have suffered, you recognize suffering in others. You become more patient, more understanding, less quick to judge. This shared human experience connects people more deeply than comfort ever could. Endurance is another lesson pain offers. It shows that you do not need ideal conditions to keep going. You can act while hurting. You can think clearly under pressure. Each time you endure, you strengthen the part of yourself that remains steady when life is unstable. Pain reveals values. When everything is easy, values are theoretical. When life becomes hard, you see what truly matters to you, what you protect, what you sacrifice, what you refuse to abandon. These moments define character more than success ever does. Many people waste pain by resenting it. They ask why it came, who is to blame, when it will end. These questions do not heal. They trap the mind in resistance. When you shift your focus to learning, pain becomes purposeful. It still hurts, but it no longer feels meaningless. Pain also teaches simplicity. Hardship reduces life to essentials. You stop chasing excess. You focus on what is necessary: rest, clarity, resilience, effort. This simplicity brings mental strength. No teacher is more honest than pain. It does not flatter. It does not lie. It shows you exactly where you stand. If you listen, it prepares you for future challenges. If you ignore it, the lesson returns, often stronger. Pain does not exist to punish you. It exists to shape you. The mind often suffers more from time than from reality. It drifts into the past and replays mistakes, regrets, and missed chances. It rushes into the future and imagines loss, failure, and fear. In both directions, the mind leaves the present moment, the only place where life actually happens. When attention is scattered across time, peace becomes impossible. Focusing on today is not a denial of the future or a rejection of responsibility. It is a choice to place your energy where it is useful. You cannot act yesterday. You cannot act tomorrow. You can only act now. This moment is where decisions are made, where effort exists, where progress begins. When you carry the weight of the entire future, it feels unbearable. Goals appear too large. Problems feel endless. By narrowing your focus to today, the load becomes lighter. You are no longer trying to solve everything at once. You are simply doing what is needed next. The present moment is manageable. It asks only for your attention, not your fear. When you stay with today, tasks become clearer. You stop rushing. You stop freezing. You begin to move steadily, one action at a time. Anxiety often comes from imagining outcomes that have not arrived. The mind creates stories and reacts to them as if they were real. By focusing on today, you interrupt this habit. You return to facts. What is in front of you? What can be done now? This grounded thinking restores calm. Living one day at a time builds discipline. You commit to daily effort instead of distant results. You focus on showing up rather than winning. This consistency is more powerful than bursts of motivation. Small actions repeated daily create lasting change. The present also teaches acceptance. You meet reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. You respond to what exists, not to imagined versions of life. This honesty strengthens judgment and reduces frustration. When hardship lasts longer than expected, focusing on today prevents despair. You do not ask how long the pain will continue. You ask what you can endure now. This mindset makes endurance possible. You break long struggles into manageable moments. Gratitude also lives in the present. When you are fully here, you notice small things that are often ignored. A quiet moment, a completed task, a breath taken without effort. These simple experiences anchor the mind and balance hardship. Focusing on today does not mean neglecting planning. It means planning without obsession. You prepare calmly, then return your attention to what is required now. You do not live inside imagined futures. You live through deliberate action. This practice trains the mind to stay steady. When distractions arise, you return to the task at hand. When worries appear, you bring yourself back to now. This repeated return builds mental strength. The present moment also limits suffering. Pain may exist now, but it does not need the support of future fear or past regret. By staying with today, you experience only what is real, not multiplied suffering created by the mind. Each day offers enough challenge on its own. Adding tomorrow's worries weakens you. Carrying yesterday's regrets exhausts you. Today requires attention, effort, and patience, nothing more. When you learn to live in today, life becomes simpler, not easier but more direct. You stop postponing peace. You stop waiting for the future to feel calm. You find steadiness in what is already here. Strength is built in daily actions, not in imagined victories. Focusing on today turns life into a series of meaningful steps rather than an overwhelming distance. Comfort is tempting because it asks nothing from you. It offers ease, familiarity, and relief from effort. Character, on the other hand, demands choices that are often uncomfortable. It asks for discipline when rest feels better, honesty when silence feels safer, and courage when fear is loud. The Stoic path values character over comfort because comfort fades, while character remains. Comfort seeks pleasure and avoids pain. Character seeks what is right, even when it is difficult. A comfortable life can be taken away by a single change in circumstances. Strong character cannot be removed by loss, criticism, or hardship. It travels with you wherever you go. Every day presents a choice between what feels good now and what is good in the long run. Comfort whispers that you deserve rest before the work is done, excuses before effort, and shortcuts before discipline. Character reminds you of who you want to be, not just how you want to feel. Choosing character means acting according to values, not moods. Moods change quickly. Values remain steady. When you rely on motivation, your actions become unstable. When you rely on principles, your actions become consistent. Discomfort is often a signal that growth is happening. The body becomes stronger through resistance. The mind becomes sharper through challenge. Avoiding discomfort keeps you the same. Facing it develops resilience. Character is built in small, unnoticed moments. Telling the truth when lying would be easier. Doing the work when no one is watching. Keeping a promise when breaking it would bring relief. These moments may not bring immediate reward, but they shape identity. Comfort encourages avoidance. It delays difficult conversations. It postpones responsibility. It convinces you that tomorrow will be better for effort. Over time, this avoidance weakens confidence and increases anxiety. Problems grow when they are ignored. Choosing character means facing what needs to be faced. It means acting before fear feels comfortable. It means taking responsibility without waiting for perfect conditions. This willingness builds self-respect. Character also brings freedom. When your actions align with your values, you are not controlled by external approval. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not destroy you. You know who you are because your actions confirm it. Comfort often leads to dependence. You become attached to conditions, routines, and outcomes. When they change, you feel lost. Character creates independence. You rely on your judgment, discipline, and integrity rather than on comfort. Hard choices often feel lonely. Choosing character may separate you from those who seek ease. But this path builds inner strength. It teaches you to stand firm without needing constant reassurance. Character does not mean harshness. It does not require ignoring rest or joy. It means choosing wisely, not avoiding comfort entirely. It means knowing when comfort supports strength and when it weakens it. Over time, choosing character becomes easier. Discipline creates habits. Habits reduce effort. What once felt difficult becomes natural. The mind becomes trained to choose long-term strength over short-term relief. When life becomes hard, comfort disappears. Circumstances change. Health fades. Security shifts. In these moments, character is what remains. It guides decisions, it steadies the mind. It provides direction when conditions are unstable. A life built on comfort collapses under pressure. A life built on character endures. Everything in life is temporary. This truth is simple, yet often forgotten. Moments of joy arrive and pass. Periods of pain rise and fall. People enter and leave. Circumstances shift without warning. Resisting this reality creates suffering. Accepting it brings balance. When things are going well, the mind wants permanence. It clings to comfort and assumes stability will last. This attachment creates fear, fear of loss, fear of change, fear of the future. Remembering that nothing lasts forever softens this fear. It teaches appreciation without dependence. Hardship feels endless when you believe it will never end. Pain grows heavier when you imagine it stretching infinitely ahead. But no state remains unchanged. Just as night gives way to morning, difficulty eventually loosens its grip. This understanding does not remove pain, but it makes endurance possible. Impermanence teaches moderation. You learn not to overindulge in pleasure or sink too deeply into despair. Both extremes distort judgment. When you remember that all conditions pass, you remain steady. You enjoy without excess. You suffer without surrender. This perspective creates emotional balance. You stop being carried away by success. You stop being crushed by failure. You understand that neither defines you permanently. Both are temporary states, not permanent identities. Change is not a flaw in life. It is its nature. Expecting stability in an ever-changing world leads to frustration. When you accept change as natural, you adapt more easily. You stop demanding certainty and begin preparing for movement. Loss becomes easier to bear when you understand impermanence. You still grieve, you still feel pain, but you do not feel betrayed by life. You recognize that nothing was promised forever. This awareness transforms grief from bitterness into remembrance. Even the self is not fixed. Thoughts change, beliefs evolve, strength grows, weakness fades. Understanding this allows growth. You are not trapped by who you were yesterday. You are shaped by what you practice today. Impermanence also sharpens focus. Knowing time is limited encourages meaningful action. You stop postponing important things. You speak honestly. You act deliberately. You value presence over distraction. When facing fear, remembering impermanence brings courage. Fear thrives on permanence. It tells you the pain will last, the mistake will define you, the loss will ruin everything. Impermanence breaks this illusion. It reminds you that fear itself will pass. This understanding does not create passivity. It creates urgency with calm. You act fully without attachment to outcome. You do your best knowing results will change. This reduces anxiety and increases effort. Nothing lasting forever also means mistakes do not define you. Errors fade, reputations change, opportunities return in new forms. This gives room for forgiveness, learning, and growth. Impermanence brings humility. Success does not belong to you permanently. It visits then moves on. This prevents arrogance. It encourages gratitude. You appreciate what you have without believing it is owed. Suffering also loses its power when seen as temporary. It becomes something to endure, not escape at all costs. This endurance strengthens character. It builds patience and resilience. Understanding that nothing lasts forever changes how you live. You stop clinging. You stop fearing change. You meet life with openness rather than resistance. You allow things to come and go without losing yourself. Stability is found not in conditions, but in understanding their nature. Pressure reveals the true state of the mind. When things are calm, anyone can appear steady. When difficulty arrives, when time is short, when consequences are real, the mind shows whether it has been trained or neglected. Staying calm under pressure is not natural. It is practiced. Pressure often creates urgency, and urgency pushes people toward poor decisions. The heart races, thoughts scatter, and emotions demand immediate action. In these moments, calm is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to think clearly despite feeling. A calm mind sees more. It notices details that panic ignores. While others rush, the calm person pauses. This pause creates space for judgment. Good decisions are rarely made in chaos. They are made when the mind is steady enough to choose wisely. Pressure does not come to test your comfort. It comes to test your discipline. Anyone can stay calm when nothing is at stake. The challenge is remaining composed when failure is possible, when loss feels close, when others expect you to break. The Stoic approach does not deny stress. It recognizes it and refuses to be ruled by it. Stress is information, not a command. It signals importance, not danger by default. When you interpret pressure correctly, it sharpens focus instead of destroying it. Breath is often the first tool. When pressure rises, breathing becomes shallow and fast. By slowing the breath, you slow the body. When the body calms, the mind follows. This simple act restores control. Thoughts also require discipline. Under pressure, the mind exaggerates. It imagines worst outcomes. It rushes to conclusions. Staying calm means questioning these thoughts instead of obeying them. You ask what is real, what is within control, and what can be done now. Calm does not mean delay when action is needed. It means acting without panic. Quick decisions can still be calm decisions. Speed does not require chaos. A trained mind can move fast and stay clear. Pressure often comes from external expectations. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others. When you allow these fears to dominate, calm disappears. By focusing on effort instead of outcome, you reduce this pressure. You commit to doing your part well and accept that results are not fully yours. Experience builds calm. Each time you face pressure and remain composed, confidence grows. You learn that pressure is survivable. You learn that mistakes are not fatal. This memory strengthens you for future challenges. Preparation also reduces pressure. When you practice skills, reflect on values, and prepare for difficulty, pressure loses its shock. You may not control when challenges come, but you can control how ready you are. Staying calm under pressure also protects others. Panic spreads quickly. Calm steadies people around you. Your composure becomes a signal. It shows that the situation is manageable. This leadership is quiet but powerful. Calm allows learning even in difficulty. When the mind is stable, you observe what works and what fails. Pressure becomes a teacher instead of a threat. You leave the situation wiser than before. Many mistakes are not caused by lack of ability, but by loss of calm. Skills disappear when panic takes over. By protecting calm, you protect your competence. This discipline requires daily practice. Small irritations are training grounds. Delays, disagreements, minor stressors. Each one offers a chance to practice composure. Ignoring these moments weakens the mind. Using them strengthens it. Calm under pressure is not emotional numbness. It is emotional order. Feelings exist, but they do not command. Reason leads, action follows. A calm mind turns pressure into focus rather than fear. Persistence is the cornerstone of endurance. Life does not reward those who start well and stop early. It rewards those who continue, even when the path is uncertain, when effort feels wasted, when obstacles grow taller than imagined. The decision to keep going is simple in words but difficult in practice. It demands courage, patience, and trust in your own resilience. Obstacles are inevitable. Plans fail, people disappoint, and circumstances shift. Every challenge tests your resolve. Those who quit at the first sign of difficulty mistake hardship for impossibility. The truth is that difficulty is not a signal to stop, but a signal to act with determination. Each step forward, however small, strengthens the mind and builds momentum. Persistence begins in the mind. You must decide that no setback will define your journey. You must remind yourself that progress is rarely linear. Success is often the result of repeated effort, of trying again and again, even when it feels futile. This mindset transforms failure into feedback and delay into opportunity. Effort is cumulative. Every small action compounds over time. One push today may seem insignificant, but repeated over days, weeks, and months, it leads to measurable change. Understanding this creates patience. You continue not because immediate results appear, but because you trust that consistent effort produces outcomes eventually. Discomfort is a companion to persistence. The urge to stop grows with exhaustion, fear, or frustration. The mind whispers excuses. It points to past failures. It imagines easier paths. Choosing to continue despite these voices strengthens character. Each time you persist, you train the mind to withstand adversity without surrendering. Persistence also requires focus. Effort without direction can exhaust the body and scatter the mind. Knowing your purpose, your values, and your immediate priorities channels energy efficiently. Focused persistence is like a steady flame. It endures wind, rain, and darkness because it is rooted in direction, not impulse. Consistency builds confidence. The knowledge that you can continue under pressure, that you can rise after setbacks, forms a foundation of inner strength. This confidence is quiet and unshakable. It is not boastful, but it is reliable. When challenges multiply, it prevents despair from taking hold. The path of persistence often feels lonely. Progress is rarely visible. Support may be scarce. Results may be delayed. Yet solitude is part of the training. It teaches reliance on your own judgment, trust in your own effort, and the ability to act without immediate reward. This independence strengthens resilience. Persistence does not mean blind effort. It requires reflection. You continue, but you also learn. You adjust strategies. You refine methods. You use obstacles as lessons, not reasons to quit. This intelligent persistence ensures that effort compounds in the right direction. Repetition creates mastery. Skills improve through consistent practice, decisions improve through repeated experience, and patience strengthens through repeated endurance. Each repetition, though small and seemingly invisible, builds the foundation for eventual success. Persistence is not dramatic, it is steady and unwavering. Even when motivation fades, persistence carries you. Motivation is temporary, fluctuating with mood and circumstance. Persistence is chosen, maintained by discipline rather than feeling. It is a decision to act regardless of enthusiasm, to honor commitment over impulse, to keep walking even when the path is steep. Challenges test more than ability, they test determination. Stopping too soon often leaves potential unfulfilled. Continuing, even under strain, reveals capacities previously unknown. Endurance is discovered in action, not in waiting. Every step forward strengthens not just the outcome, but the character of the one who moves. Persistence transforms life into a series of deliberate acts. Each day, each decision, each effort becomes part of a larger journey. Even when success is distant, the act of continuing shapes resilience, wisdom, and strength.